and welcome to the second video of Sprout Up Explores Online. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Possum, and I'm here to teach you about green spaces. A green space is any open piece of land with no buildings that anyone's allowed to visit. So this could be the park near your house or even a garden inside your home. One type of green space that we're going to talk about today is called a community garden. But before we talk about community gardens and green spaces, let's quickly go over the parts of a plant. The life cycle of a plant begins from a tiny seed. Once the seed gets the essential elements of water, sunlight, nutrient-rich soil, and air, then it will sprout roots and begin to grow. The roots are important because they help the seed to get enough nutrients and water from the soil to grow the stem. The stem helps the plant to spread nutrients and water from the roots all over the plant. Next, when the stem matures, leaves will grow. The leaves help the plant to get sunlight, which the plant needs for food. Finally, when the plant is all grown up, some plants can grow flowers and even fruit that we can enjoy or eat. Now for a quick review, the essential elements a plant needs to survive are sun, water, nutrient-rich soil, and air, and the parts of the plant are the seed, the roots, the stem, and the leaves.
Thank you, Possum, for that awesome drawing of the different parts of a plant. My name is Starry Knight, and I'm currently in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is a desert environment, but it doesn't mean that we don't have green spaces as well. So I'm going to show you the different green spaces that are around me. I have an indoor and outdoor green space. So my indoor green space includes a bunch of different houseplants. You also might have some houseplants, and if you do, your apartment or home is a green space. If you have a backyard, that's also a green space. What I love about being surrounded by plants is that they bring a lot of life into the space. So now I'm going to take you to the outdoor green space.
Hi Sprout Up scientists! So as you can see, I've moved outside and there are a bunch of plants behind me. I am currently in the green space that is accessible to everyone in this area, and it's right outside a bunch of apartments. So someone in the neighborhood decided to plant all of these trees and plants and an area for people to sit down and relax. That's not the only cool thing about it though. This green space is also a community garden. So I'm going to take you on a tour and show you all of the cool plants that are here. So on this tour, I'm going to show you 3 different kinds of plants. All of them are what we call herbs. Herbs are plants that are edible that you can put in your food and make it taste way better. So the first herb I'm going to show you is this chive plant. So it is a relative of onions and garlic, and it's really yummy in soups, baked potato, omelets, things like that. And you could actually just take a piece of it and start cooking. So the second herb I want to show you is this one. It's called oregano. It's got this fuzzy texture. It's in a lot of Italian dishes like pizza, tomato sauce, and lasagna. It's a really yummy one. So a cool thing about these plants is that you can rub their leaves and then you can smell it. That smells really fresh. That's a great way to be able to identify it and to see what it might taste like. So this is the last herb I'm gonna show you, and it is mint. So you might have heard of mint before. There's some really yummy things like mint ice cream. You can put mint in desserts, in smoothies. It has a really fresh taste. And if you've ever had really minty gum, you have tried it before. There's also different kinds of mint in your toothpaste. Another cool thing here that is not a plant is this bird bath. So it's filled with water, and it's just like it sounds, a bird bath. So birds can come, take a bath, drink some water from it, and be part of this cool space. So I actually want to show you one last plant. This is a common house leek. It's a super pretty succulent, looks like a rose. And the cool thing is that there were some baby ones that were growing outside of it. And so my sister planted it and they grew into this.
Hey everyone, I'm back inside now, and this was the plant I was just showing you. So the cool thing is that now this plant can live in my indoor green space, and it came from my outdoor green space. So one of the awesome things about the community garden is that you can take parts of a plant out from that garden, such as the herbs I showed you, and you can bring them inside and have them to cook with and enjoy. So today I'm going to show you how to repot a mint plant. This was taken from outside, and we're going to put it in this beautiful pot so that we can put it in our kitchen, we can smell it and use it for our cooking. So before I pot this plant, I'm going to show you the different parts of it. So here are the roots, and that is where the water travels up. We've got the stems, it brings the water up into the leaves, and the leaves are the parts that we eat. These are the ones that smell really good. So, how we repot this plant. We want to be gentle, and we will put it into the soil. We'll hold it in there. And I have some soil here that I actually got from outside where this plant was originally. And you will just sprinkle it in there while you hold the plant. And you kind of just, this can be a messy process, but you put in the soil until the plant can hold itself up. And then you start to pat it down. You want to add a little bit more, make it cozy. There's different parts of the plant. Make sure they all have space to breathe. And look how great. We took it from this little jar of water and made it a home. And then the next part is to water it. So we're just gonna add a little bit of water. So that's how you pot a plant. I can't wait to put this in the kitchen where I can smell it and use it to cook. So now we're going to head over to see what Polar Bear's up to.
It's Polar Bear here. So today in our lesson about green spaces, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about food plants and what it means to create green spaces in and outside of your very own home. So I'm going to show you guys what my family and I do during the springtime to get ready for our garden and some of the plants that we actually grow inside of our garden. So let's get started, and I'm going to take you through some of these plants and what that green space looks like and what it might also look like outside in your very own neighborhood.
Sometimes begins with a baby plant, and I'm going to show you what that looks like, but other times it would begin with what we call seeds. And you guys talked about this when you were thinking about parts of plants. So this is a pack of seeds. These are all different types of seeds. So you have bean seeds, tomato seeds, we've got radish seeds, different colored radish seeds. So the seed is, if you guys remember, the first thing that goes into the soil, and then once it germinates, it'll start growing roots and stems and leaves, and then eventually it'll grow that fruit that you guys can see in a lot of these pictures. So here are all of my baby plants. So all of these plants started from one seed, and that seed has now grown into a baby plant that includes roots, which will be in the soil, a stem, which is still really, really small, as you can see, and then just a few leaves. So this plant only has a few leaves because it's only probably a month old. So this is an example right here of a tomato plant. So as you can see, it's a little bit fuzzy if you look really close, but this is a tomato plant. So this came from this seed right here. So the tomato plant still only has a few leaves, but eventually it'll grow really tall, and then it'll sprout some flowers, and those flowers will get pollinated by bees or other insects in the garden, and then it'll grow the fruit, which is the tomato. So Sprout Up scientists, here we have our tomato, and this is the fruit that it would look like when it came off the plant, when it's ready and mature to produce fruit. And I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like inside of the tomato. And if we know our parts of the plant, we know that we would probably find seeds. Yeah, so tomatoes have those really jelly seeds. So these are the seeds inside the tomato. And this isn't exactly what it looks like when you get a seed that's inside one of these packets, but the seeds are gonna be dried and they're gonna get prepped and ready. And then that's one of these seeds. If you planted it in a little while, after the proper circumstances, it would turn into a tomato plant. So tomatoes have many seeds inside of them. So really, if we saved all of these seeds, we could probably create 30 tomato plants, which is awesome. So if you guys have any fruits at home, you can try this with your grown-ups and see the different seeds that live inside of your fruits, and talk a little bit about why those seeds are important, right? They give us whole new plants to grow more produce that we can eat and enjoy with our families. Hello, Sprout Up scientists, and welcome to
my own personal green space in upstate New York. So as you guys can see, got a lot of green around. Now this is my family's property, so it's not a public green space, but I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what we do with our green space. And one of those really big things is gardening. We actually garden, we grow food here, and that's something that can be done with a community in a common green space. And you actually see it done a lot in places like New York City and California, and I'm sure in whatever city you may be, there are many community gardens that exist out there and spaces where you and your families can go and plant your own veggies and fruits and things like that. So I'm just gonna show you a bit of my own personal green space, and we're going to continue to think about green spaces as a whole and why they're important for everyone, everywhere.
Welcome to my personal garden green space. So this is where all of those baby seedlings that we saw inside are going to come out in a few weeks, and they're going to get planted in these beds with this nice soil that's good for those fruit and veggie plants. As you guys can see, there's some plants already, and it's because these plants can handle the cold temperatures. But the things that we saw, like the tomatoes, are gonna need some warmer weather. A little bit of this chive plant right here.
Spicy. So, Sprout Up scientists, green spaces can exist all around you. They can exist outside your window, on the corner where the trees are. They can exist in your playground or in your schoolyard. They can even exist if you take a trip out of the city sometimes, maybe with your parents or your family members, and you go hiking or you go kayaking in a river or you go bike riding somewhere. So green spaces are really everywhere. They're really important to take care of because they provide us with so many good things. Not only are they fun to enjoy, but they give us things like food, as you guys have seen from my green space, and they also give us happiness, shelter for animals, and a lot of other really good things that I know Possum talked about at the beginning of this video. So thank you guys for visiting my green space, and I encourage you to look around your own home and think about all the green things you have in there, and if not, look outside your own window and examine some of the green spaces that you have in your local neighborhoods. So thanks guys, and if you're really excited about growing your own vegetables, definitely do some research with your family members, and hopefully you can grow your own garden one day.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Sprout Up Explorers. We got to learn so much today from Starry Night and Polar Bear about community gardens we can share around us and green spaces that we can make for ourselves. Community gardens can be a fun group activity that helps bring people together to hang out, be happy, enjoy some fresh food, while also keeping the environment healthy. And the best part is that a community garden can happen almost anywhere where there is sun, soil, water, and air. All you need is some good soil and seeds. So until we can go out and enjoy the community gardens together, we can still enjoy all the wonderful green spaces that we see out our windows and inside of our homes. That was such a fun lesson that I want to give you all props for being such good listeners and learning along with me today. Yeah! And don't worry, the fun's not over yet. Be sure to check out our worksheets in the link below for some fun activities you can do at home.